Welcome to this session on Universal Healing, Awakening the Heart of Humanity. The heart of humanity is the notion of infinite love and peace. It is now time for universal healing, awakening all to this one heart, aligning the different energies within, so that we may all be healed. Our intention is to awaken our higher consciousness so that we can connect to one another through the heart and be of authentic service to all of life, love in full expression. Just as we can open up to the same sky through windows of different shapes and colors, there are many pathways to awakening and healing. This unique 7 series of workshops encompasses healing traditions from different religions and cultures. Each daily session, lasting an hour, may include breathwork, chanting, meditation, artwork, and spiritual exercises. Our intention is to awaken our higher consciousness so that we may connect to the other through the heart and be of authentic service to God's magnificent creation. Join us during these 7 days at 9 a.m. Pacific Time. You can register at www.charterforcompassion.org.
A heartfelt welcome to you again. And I wanted to say that this program is in a very special week, in the week of the World Interfaith Harmony Week. A little bit of history. In 2010, King Abdullah of Jordan, he initiated this event, and the United Nations sponsored it, adopted it, and ever since 2010, individuals, institutions at the grassroots level, they are getting together for this entire week in the first week of February, every year since 2010, and doing programs to create a culture of peace, of harmony, of understanding, to promote what they call love of the good and love of the neighbor. And this really resonates beautifully with the theme of Charter for Compassion, which is the sponsor of this program. And the theme is healing ourselves, healing the world, delve deeper. And the overall arching title is Universal Healing, Awakening the Heart of Humanity. And in these 7 sections, we are approaching this title, this overall theme, through the lens of the chakras. And today I shall be commenting on and doing some meditations, offering some insights on the 3rd chakra, which for Sufis is really the world of emotions. Let me go back and explain who Sufis are, because that can be a source of confusion. I'm a Muslim, and in Islam we have 2 main denominations, Sunni and Shia. Like in Christianity, you have Catholics and Protestants. Sufism is not a denomination. It is simply a heartfelt aspiration to live the spirit of the tradition without getting enmeshed in what they call unnecessary debates over theology, over this fine point and that fine point. So you might say Sufism is the mystical dimension of Islam. And so the 3rd chakra for Sufis is really about becoming aware of feelings and emotions. What's the difference between the two? Feelings is felt by consciously, we're conscious of feelings. Emotions is in the conscious mind, also in the subconscious. And we might not be aware of it. And Sufis will say that a goal of life is to become insan-e-kamil, which means a perfected human being. And part of it comes from embracing not only our 10,000 joys of life, but also our 10,000 sorrows of life. Our anger, our pain, our sadness. And I want to give you some context from the Islamic mystical dimension. Like, what would Rumi say? What would Hafiz say? They would say that, to be a human being is very difficult. Why? Because number one, we have a human body. You might say, what's the big deal? Well, angels are beings of light. But because we have a human body, we experience feelings and emotion which register as sensations. How do I know I'm angry or sad? It corresponds to a physical sensation in the body. And the question is, how am I reacting to that? Number two, it's a world of duality. The Quran says, of everything, Allah has created opposites. So you might know only Allah is one. So there are happy feelings, there are sad feelings. There is joy, there is sorrow. This is part of the world of duality. Number three, human beings have free will. We have choices. The Prophet Muhammad said, every moment, your choices are either enriching, ennobling your soul, or you're oppressing your soul by the choices you make. One more point the Quran makes. The Holy Book says, tears come from God. Meaning, all feelings are sacred. All feelings are meant to be embraced. If it's a difficult feeling, it's meant to be what Carl Jung would call kissed. Carl Jung, who studied many Eastern traditions, he would say, would you once in your life have the courage and the grace to kiss the demons and dragons within you? That's how they turn into a prince or princess. So to come back to my point, the Sufis say, it's difficult being a human being. It is a wonderful story in the Islamic tradition. The angels were complaining to God that why did you send human beings on earth? You could have sent angels. God said, okay, why don't you choose two of your most advanced angels, evolved angels? We'll send them down to earth. And they did. And the Quran mentions those two angels, Harut and Marut. Those angels, they acquired a body, had free will, choices to make. All feelings are sacred. And guess what? In the course of their stay on planet Earth, they succumbed to corruption, to cravings, to desires. They went astray. Which is why the Quran says, in the Quran, those angels are saying, oh God, it is difficult being a human being. It is difficult being a human being. Please, God, forgive the human beings. So just be with that. Why is it difficult with feelings? Because we as human beings, we tend to avoid or deny difficult feelings, which invariably, inevitably will come up. And these difficult feelings, anger, hate, sadness, will cause suffering. And as we know from Buddhism, the first noble truth, suffering is inevitable. Dukkha is bound to happen. So now the question is, what can we do to create healing, empowerment, transformation? So let's look at the different levels. The first level is at the physical level. Symbolically, for Sufis, the third chakra embodies all of our denied, avoided, difficult feelings that I want to push away. I don't want to feel it. Symbolically, it's in the third chakra. So, how wonderful on the physical level to do a breathing exercise. And in Sufism, there's a breath exercise called mother's breath. So, I'd like you to join me. In this mother's breath, we focus on the third chakra, just above the navel in the solar plexus area. And we make a motion of breathing in as you inhale, then hold your breath and make an intention to raise that breath up to the heart level. Bring it into the chamber of unconditional love, the touchstone, magical touchstone of love. And as we exhale, just pour it out, being transmuted, transformed as it goes through the heart. And you can make a sound. In Sufism, the sound is hu, H-U, hu. I will tilt my neck down, take a deep breath through my solar plexus, third chakra, hold my breath, raise my hands up to my heart level and feel it coming up through intention. As I exhale, could tilt your neck back and radiate it out. Once again, tilt your neck down, breathe in through the solar plexus, hold your breath through intention, bring it up to the heart, which transmutes it. And now exhale through the heart, tilting your neck back. Again, tilt your neck down, take a deep breath, breathe into the solar plexus, third chakra. Hold your breath, bring it up to your heart level. Tilt neck back. One last time, I won't say anything, let's just do it. And become very, very still. Experiencing silence. I love the words of that 13th century sage Rumi, who says, silence is not the absence of sound. Silence is the absence of that little self, the I, me, me. Another beautiful insight by Rumi about silence is the language of God. Silence is the language of God. Everything else is a poor translation. Silence is the language of God. Everything else is a poor translation. So Rumi goes on to say, therefore, please be silent so that the Lord who gave you language may speak. For as he fashioned a door and a lock, he also made a key. Okay, just be with that. Just again, a few moments of silence. Okay, moving on. So how can we now deal with these difficult feelings and emotions on the mental level? We just did the physical level. On the mental level, well, the words of the Buddha, We are what we think. Everything that we are arises with our thoughts. Going back to Rumi, who utters, if your thought is that of a rose, if your thought is that of a rose, you become a rose garden. If your thought is that of a thorn, you become fuel for the stove. So, several traditions, including Sufism, they say, if I have a negative thought and I don't check it, it morphs, it festers into a negative feeling, anger, hate, fear. If I don't check that, it creates what is called negative imaginary scenarios. I repeat, negative imaginary scenarios. You want vengeance, in your imagination, you have done this, terrible things. But the sages, the psychologists, psychiatrists of today say the subconscious does not differentiate between real and imagined. The subconscious does not differentiate, scientifically speaking, between real and imagined. It has an impact. And number two, everything is interconnected. What I'm imagining in my, what I call imaginal world, will have an impact on what I call the world, and vice versa. Therefore, to take care of difficult feelings which lead to negative imaginary scenarios, the moment one becomes aware of these negative imaginary scenarios swirling in the mind, do a spiritual intervention. In Islam, a practitioner, the moment he or she becomes aware of that, says, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah, meaning, oh, please forgive me, God, forgive me, not because I've sinned, because of my lack of awareness. In Tibet, children are taught to say, when they become aware of these negative imaginary scenarios, neti neti, neti neti, not this, not that, not real, not real, not real, neti neti. I love to say, letting go, letting go, letting go. For young contemporary people, the sages say, you can say, delete, delete, cancel, cancel. So just be with that. To do a spiritual intervention when you become aware of negative imaginary scenarios. Just be with that for a few moments. That's on the mental level. And now here's a big one for Sufism, taking care of those difficult feelings on an emotional level. This is a course sometimes I teach for 3 months, explaining just one simple practice called, in Sufism, sacred holding. It's based on the verses of the Quran that says all feelings are sacred. If it has an edge, it's only because it is separated from us. It is begging to be acknowledged. It is begging to be held. It is begging to be kissed, like Carl Jung would say. That is how my negative feeling or emotion becomes transmuted. If I do this practice called sacred holding, my anger becomes transmuted into an inner enthusiasm. My fear into a larger, greater mindfulness. My sadness into a greater empathy. So rather than me talk too much about it, let's just do this meditation, which is a very popular one or a very essential one. I've been doing it all my life, called sacred holding. And Sufis will say, difficult feelings which come up in you, they're begging to be held as I'm repeating myself, to be embraced with compassion for oneself, with gentleness, with mercy for oneself. And then they become transmuted. So, in other words, those difficult feelings that are coming up in me are exactly what I need to become a more complete human being, a more developed, mature, evolved human being, as long as I do the work of embracing it. It's okay. So let us close our eyes. But before that, maybe just think of a difficult feeling you've experienced, some anger, resentment, hate. Just become aware of that difficult feeling. Because in Sufism, the moment you become aware of this difficult feeling, of course, restrain yourself. Don't do something you regret. But at the earliest opportunity, do this simple practice of sacred holding. So become aware of a difficult, negative feeling you've had, no matter what it is. Maybe choose a moderate one. Okay, close your eyes. And then focus on your nostril and simply be present with your breath as you inhale and as you exhale. Just this much. Allowing the in breath and the out breath to make us so much more relaxed, calm, tranquil. And now, letting go of this, eyes still closed, and now get in touch with that difficult feeling and begin to ask yourself, where in my body am I experiencing that? Because every feeling has a corresponding physical sensation in a part of our body. This is scientific. This is in all traditions. If I'm angry or sad, it's only because I'm feeling a sensation in a part of my body and I'm reacting to that. So here you're being asked to locate the physical sensation that corresponds to this feeling. And once you've located it, please, with your consciousness and with the most exquisite mercy, compassion for yourself, just enfold it with your awareness, with your consciousness. Simply be present with it. I repeat, simply, please, with compassion for yourself, be present with it. Hold it as you'd hold a loved one. Remember, it is begging to be acknowledged, to be held, to be healed. There is no need to fix it at this time, no need to analyze it, but a great need to be present with it. If it moves, move with it. simply enfolding it with our consciousness, always with mercy for ourselves. Sufis like to continue by asking it some questions, but with the greatest of respect and love and compassion. So, as you're with this, what is called physical holding, the first question is ask it, do you have a message for me? I'm really willing to listen. Do you have a message for me? Do you have a secret you want to share? I really am willing to listen. I'm present. And really, with respect, reverence, please be present. It's not that you're looking for an answer. The key is in respectfully posing that question. Do you have a message for me? Do you have a secret you want to share? I'm really listening. And now the second question, again, not necessarily expecting an answer, but the key is in respectfully posing that question with love, with compassion, with sincerity. How may I love you? If you don't like the word love, befriend. How may I love you? How may I befriend you? Please know I'm listening. How may I love you? How may I befriend you? And now, the last part is as you focus on this physical holding, make an intention to breathe through it. The in breath and out breath going in and out to this physical holding. The divine breath caressing you there. Just continue with that and keep your eyes closed. And I'm moving over. I'm so delighted I have with me Brother Steve Kramer, who's also a flautist. Keep your eyes closed, and Brother Steve Kramer will play a flute music and just be with that for a few moments. Please keep your eyes closed. And on your behalf, I'm thanking Brother Stephen. And now I'll do a chant in the tradition of the Sufis. And at the end of the chant, at your convenience, please open your eyes. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. And gently opening your eyes. Take your time, please. Okay, my friends, just a few more words now. In the Quran, the most used word is Allah, 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 Allah. But the second most used word is ilm, awareness. And to deal with these difficult feelings and emotions, it's wonderful to really expand our awareness. So rather than me talk again, let me just recite some poetry. By the way, I love insights from poetry. I love teaching stories. That's my modus operandi. In my training, I was taught the Quran in conjunction with the poetry of Rumi. So, for example, Rumi has this verse, which is very popular now. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, greet them at the door laughing, for each has been sent as a guide from beyond. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, greet them at the door laughing, because each one has been sent as a guide from beyond. Just be with that. Rumi's words are, see if this splashes in your heart. If it does, allow it to perfume your heart. There's another one that Rumi has, if I remember. I saw grief drinking a cup of sorrow. And I said to it, tastes sweet, does it not? And grief answered, you've caught me and ruined my business. How can I ever sell sorrow again if people know there is some blessing in it? I saw grief drinking a cup of sorrow. And I said to it, tastes sweet, does it not? And grief answered, you've caught me and ruined my business. How can I ever sell sorrow again if people know there's some blessing in it? The Christian mystic, Khalil Gibran, Lebanese mystic, who wrote The Prophet, the more that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy it can contain. The more that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy it can contain. Now, here is a very critical point. I never tell anybody, there is some blessing in your affliction. That would be almost not only absurd, it would be criminal to say that. It has to arise from within. That's why Rumi tells us again and again, the Islamic sages remind us again and again, don't run towards pain and suffering or difficult feelings, just don't run away from it. I repeat, don't run towards difficult feeling or pain or sorrow, just don't run away from it. Which reminds me of another wonderful verse from Rumi about opening up the heart, allowing the heart to break. Take a pickaxe, says Rumi, take a pickaxe and break open your stony heart. The heart's matrix is glutted with rubies. Springs of laughter are buried in your chest. Take a pickaxe and break open your stony heart. The heart's matrix is glutted with rubies. Springs of laughter are buried in your chest. And by the way, it's interesting, in several traditions, in Buddhism and certainly in Sufism, same metaphor. Take a glass of water. It's a contained glass of water. Put lots of salt in it. Drink it. It tastes bitter. Take the same amount of salt and put it in a lake or a large body of water. You cannot taste that bitterness. What is the message here? What is the lesson here? What is the teaching here? When your heart has opened up, there's inner spaciousness, you actually feel the grief, the pain less because of that inner spaciousness. And also more, equally important, in my case, in my understanding, more important, if the heart opens up, there's so much more space now for more joy, more passion, more love, for intimacy to flow inside you. I've been following the work of the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. And they're saying that, well, it's in that book, The Book of Joy, which is an international bestseller. They both say that suffering, difficult feelings are inevitable, but how you reframe it, how you respond to it, defines who you are and defines the destiny of your life. Dalai Lama says, he's an exile. He's been torn away from his homeland, his beautiful country. But he says, I've realized, because of the pain I felt, that wherever people are friendly, that's my home. Wherever people are loving, that's my family. And because of this exile, these terrible circumstances, difficult feelings, I have met so many beautiful people. I have learned so much. And because of this tragedy, Tibetan Buddhism has spread all over the world. Just be with that for a few moments. How does this apply to me in your life, in my life? Another point that the Dalai Lama makes, Desmond Tutu makes, Rumi makes, all the traditions make, if I want to soften my difficult feelings because of terrible life circumstances, may I in my life be grateful for my blessings. I repeat, a simple insight. I know that you know it, but do I practice it? Am I grateful for the blessings in my life? I love this fictional character, the Mullah Nasruddin, a 13th century fictional character through whom many truths are conveyed. The story is the Mullah has lost his donkey. That's a big deal in that part of the world. The entire village tries to find the donkey. The donkey is lost forever. They come in the evening to give Mullah the bad news. And where's the Mullah? He's in the town square on his knees saying, Allah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Your donkey is lost forever. So I know, but I'm so grateful. I am so grateful because imagine what could have happened to me if I was on the donkey. What is this about? If I give thanks, even in times of difficulties, affliction, I'm giving thanks for unknown blessings already on their way. You know, the most common story about trying to make me understand, make you understand the beauty of the moments is a story you find in Buddhism and also in Sufism. Let me take the Buddhist version of it. A monk has a toothache. I don't know if you've had a toothache ever. I've had toothaches. It's terrible. It feels, oh, I can't eat. I just can't be happy. I have difficult feelings. So a monk has a toothache. And he says, if only this toothache went away, I'd be happy. Then he turns to his other monks who are unhappy and says, do you have a toothache? Do you have a toothache? Do you have a toothache? Why aren't you happy? It's because you don't realize this very moment is a non-toothache moment. Simple story. This very moment is a non-toothache moment. Am I aware of that? Am I grateful for that? Okay, next point. And this is particularly emphasized by Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu and all the other sages, but I'm referring to the Book of Joy, that if you really want to soften your suffering, diminish your difficult feelings, please take care of yourself, but please be of service to others. You have no idea, the Eastern sages say, of the joy you feel when you are of authentic service. Like Rumi says, be a lamp, a lifeboat, or a ladder to others. Help someone's soul heal. Jamal, be a lamp, a lifeboat, or a ladder to others. You have no idea of the joy you feel. I love that wonderful quote by that Indian 20th century sage Tagore, the first Asian to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. I slept and dreamt life was joy. I slept and dreamt life was joy. I awoke and found life was service. I served, and lo, service was joy. I slept and dreamt life was joy. I awoke and found life was service. I served, and behold, service was joy. Okay, last 2 points as I'm looking at the time. Critical need for community. If I want to contain my difficult feelings, heal my difficult feelings, transform my difficult feelings. Again, the Sufi sages, a wall standing alone is useless. Add to it other walls, it can support a roof, even a granary. A wall standing alone is useless. Add to it other walls, it can support a roof, even a granary. Another utterance by Rumi, only when ink joins with a pen can the blank paper say something. We all desperately need community. The Sufis say, have you not noticed? Even prophets needed companions. You know, in our community, we encourage all our members to build what the sages call a circle of love. Please come out of your circle of time and enter the circle of love. These are people who pass 3 gateways: love, truth, trust. There is love between you and the other member or members. There is trust, because without trust, there's no vulnerability. And these are people who love and live the truth. So just two quick examples. In this circle of love, someone came and said, if I want to become a better human being, I must forgive, I must forgive, I must forgive. Which is beautiful. To forgive, you become liberated. But from this circle of love, he realized forgiveness is not enough if I don't simultaneously do the work of acknowledging, healing, transforming, and integrating the wound I have within me, the anger I have within me, the pain I have within me. If I don't do that, it's not real forgiveness. But that's where the circle can help you. Someone some time ago came and said, my biggest difficult feeling is anger. Jamal, you're a Muslim. What did the Prophet Muhammad say about anger? And the Prophet Muhammad had a lot to say about anger. And his famous words are, if you feel anger, righteous anger is very good, but it needs to be reined in to serve. Otherwise, it can destroy you. If I don't control or bridle my anger in fighting injustice, I might myself become unjust. In fighting extremism, I might myself become extreme. So what do? Prophet Muhammad said three things. First of all, no matter what the situation, you're angry, lower your voice. Please, he said, lower your voice. And Rumi, who, by the way, did not write, would go into trance and utter. When he heard that, he said, yes, lower your voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder. Second thing Prophet Muhammad said, as best as you can, as quickly as you can, splash cold water on your face. Third thing is lie down on the ground, especially on Mother Earth. Just try it, see what happens. And a lot of my friends have tried that. The level of anger goes down. Okay, last point. In Sufism, they say, nothing is possible without compassion. Prophet Muhammad was asked, what is the core spiritual teaching of Islam? A spiritual teaching. And Prophet Muhammad said, the secret of this core teaching, spiritual teaching, is found in the Basmallah. That's the invocation that opens virtually each of the 114 chapters of the Quran. That's the one I sang to you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, who is boundlessly compassionate, merciful. A Bedouin asked the Prophet Muhammad, tell me the secret of this Basmallah. He said, the secret is simply this. Be compassionate with yourself and be compassionate with others. That's the key. Sages have been asked, how do you explain the majesty, the power of mercy, gentleness, compassion? Like in other traditions, they use the metaphor of water. There is nothing as soft and yielding as water is. Yet for overcoming the hardest, the most insurmountable, there's nothing as powerful as water is. Meaning the person who is gentle, compassionate, merciful, is filled with authentic strength. And number two, wherever water falls, life flourishes. The person who is gentle, merciful, compassionate is life bestowing. So let's end with a very short meditation, after which my colleague and brother Steve Kramer will play some music about connecting with compassion, which is love manifested in Islam. Compassion is love manifested. And then tomorrow, I think Sister Donna Mills will take us deeper to the the realms of the mystery of love. She'll delve deeper. But ultimately, what really heals and transmutes our difficult feelings is compassion, mercy, and love. Okay, very short meditation. Please close your eyes. Focus on your heart. Our heart has been yearning, aching to connect with us. If it works for you, put one hand or both hands over the heart and enfold the heart with the consciousness of your palm. Feel, please, the heart. For a few moments, connect with the beat, the rhythm of the heart. Allah, God, Spirit, Divinity, is the heartbeat within the heartbeat. And then, through the heart, listen to this beautiful revelation that came to the Prophet Muhammad in a dream, where Spirit says, God says, Divinity says to humanity, I cannot be contained in the space of the earth. I cannot be contained in the space of the heavens, but I can be contained in the space of the pure, loving heart. The space of the heart is actually infinite, boundless. Divine heart is inside human heart. Just be with that astonishing mystery. Space of the heart is infinite. Divine heart is inside human heart. The Quran says, to God belong the most beautiful names. When we praise God, love God, thank God, God doesn't become holy, we become holy. So now, for a few moments, plant some words of beauty inside this boundless space. The Sufis suggest, if it pleases you, words like, I love you, with feeling, with sincerity. It's not narcissistic. You're telling it to the divine heart inside human heart. I love you. Or if that's awkward, please help me to love you. You can continue. Thank you. I am so grateful. Thank you. I am so grateful. And or, please help me. Please help me. I need help. I surrender to you. Whatever a human heart wants to tell divine heart, this is the time, no matter how awkward it feels. Say those words and repeat them again and again and again. One can never overdo this. Please try it. I love you. Please help me to love you. Thank you. I am so grateful. I need help. Please help me. I surrender to you. Just be with that as Brother Steve plays a brief piece of music. your behalf, I'm thanking Brother Steve. And as I do this chant traditionally, the traditional chant of Bismillah, please open your eyes. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. And again, traditionally, I want to end with a saying of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who said that, you know, Jamal, when you arrived here on planet Earth, everybody was laughing and smiling, but you were crying and weeping. Live such a life that when you depart for the invisible world, everybody around you is crying and weeping, but you are laughing and smiling. My friends, I wish you and myself such a wonderful life. Thank you.